Good. One today is Friday, February 21st, 2025. Is update for Monday, the 24th. All right, let's go. Well, let's keep these three in here. Obviously, if they keep pulling back, we'll eventually take them off the list. I did adjust the parameter, so make sure you check that out. Ugly day, obviously, at KGS. Ugly day in the market overall. This KGS breaking down a little bit. Now it's kind of officially in the bummer column, much longer term, still in an uptrend. As you can see, like on the weekly, but obviously on your stops, just in case. As far as official setups, ALLT still looks interesting, but any deeper pullback, as I alluded to, would likely take that one off the list. KGC, I like this one actually better now that it has a bit of a knockout move, so this one looks a little better now that it's pulled back a bit. And finally, OPF, kind of flatsville, so I did not adjust the entry on that one. So let's just see how they shake out. Right now, of course, you want to make sure you're waiting for entries on setups. Let's take a look at the overall market and let's drill down a little bit. So as I've been saying ad nauseum, a big down day when you're just off all-time highs looks really ugly, and a big up day looks pretty good. But you can see P's stalled out, and this was an ugly day, down over 1 or nearly 1.5%. So that's not a good thing. All the way down below the 30 EMA. And also all the way down to the 50 simple, which is kind of hard to believe. We were just right here at all-time highs a couple days ago. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ composite, bit of a bummer too, down about 2% on the day, actually almost 2.25%. As I would say, quite a bit. It stalled these prior peaks, so that puts it in the bummer column. Long term, these indices look okay. Take a look at like a weekly chart, but shorter term, obviously, getting really choppy in here. They've been choppy and sideways for quite a while. As you likely know, take a look at the Rusty. Look at that, down nearly 3%. This is ugly. Just selling off hard below that 50. Never did really get above it. And now just beginning to implode a little bit. So this is certainly in the ugly column. Some of the areas that have been doing well, like gaming, came in hard today. In fact, in this case, it's all the way back to its prior breakout. And that's one thing I've been watching a lot lately is the prior breakouts of these areas. Cybersecurity still looks pretty good. So far, just pull it back. That actually looks interesting as a setup in and of itself. EFA shares have been rallying, got whacked a little today, not whacked as hard as us, and that'll probably follow through on Monday morning. Internet, another one of those areas that got past its prior peak, but then rolled back over quite a bit. Gold, a commodity, hanging in there, looking pretty good longer term. Gold stocks getting whacked a little, but so far they've been shaping up and looking okay in here. A lot of areas, again, coming back below their prior peaks, and that is a bummer. Now, a big up day like today was a down day would certainly negate that, but we need to pay attention in here, and this is why I'm very adamant about waiting for entries. Software stalled out recently, retracing back towards its old highs. Got whacked pretty hard, 3% and change, almost 3.5%. Some areas still okay. Medical devices kind of hanging in there. Other areas, though, like defense, stalled out the prior peaks and then sold off fairly hard. It's not the end of the world. There are some areas that are improving in here. Major drugs look like they're bottoming out. They've bow-tied back up to the upside, as we've been discussing quite a bit. But back to the downside. Cloud computing stalled out the prior peaks and now beginning to sell off fairly hard. Let's take a look at the semiconductors. Another one of those things in the bummer column. We've retraced nearly all of that gap that we had, but then today we got whacked really hard, down 3% and change. Social media selling off a little bit so far. Nice uptrend remains intact there. Telecom selling off fairly hard. Pay attention here to see if we come back down to where we broke out. Almost there already. Financials, none of those areas that tried to break out past the prior peak and came back in a little bit. And finally, healthcare is none of those areas that are actually trying to bottom out like major drugs. So it's still super mixed out there. Obviously, today's action makes things a lot uglier. Please wait for entries. Again, I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse on that, but this is the type of environment where you really want to make sure you're waiting for entries. I think that's it. If you have any questions, Dave@DaveLandry.com. I will be checking in on Facebook throughout the weekend, so feel free to hit me up there. If not, everybody enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday. Thank you so much.